All right, so doctor, let me hold you a little bit because you mentioned something very
Yeah,
important,
so
and I wouldn't want us to forget about it completely in the course of this discussion. The way we are going, if we continue deeply in this discussion, we might leave out this particular aspect, and that is how young people can actually identify and develop skills that can align with future opportunities. So, two things are there that I'd love you to really clarify. How can they first and foremost identify and develop these skills? And then future opportunities, how would they now, after developing and identifying and developing the skills, align it with what we call future opportunities? And what are these future opportunities?
okay. So if you're talking about how can they identify first and develop the skills, okay, we don't we don't develop skills in isolation of two things. One, your ability. Okay, everybody has got the abilities. Okay, you don't develop skills because you don't develop skills because you love the way it sounds or because every other person around you is doing it. Okay, you must be able to do the SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities you have? And what is your threat? Okay. So when you're able to do that self-assessment and find out what skill works for you, it is easier to identify skills. You can also identify your skills in relation to what you are currently. Let's imagine you're a student already. You know, in relation to what you're currently studying, you can identify skills that you better place you in your profession. Okay, so your skill can be related to your profession. Okay. Unfortunately, we have over here in the UK, while certificates are recognized anywhere, we leverage more on experience. Okay, we leverage more on the skills you have. Okay, so at the point where you don't need, if you are in school as a young person, I tell this to my students all the time. While you are in school, you have holidays, you have breaks, you can be learning skills at the same time. So you ask yourself, as I'm going through this, what skills do I need to place me better? Keeping the certificate away, what skill can make me more appealing in this profession? So skill can be profession dependent, skill can be talent dependent. I'm not trying to use talent religiously. Okay. I'm trying very much not to be very religious in this talk. I use talent depending on what you can do. Okay, some people have got very sharp brains, some people have got very sharp eyes, some people have got very strong body build, some people have got people are built and wired differently. Okay, so your skill should be something that relates to what you are comfortable. Okay, what you can do comfortably. It's not about everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that. You can create your own niche. Okay, you can create your own niche. For someone like me, because of how the skills are, I keep moving from one thing to the other. Just last week, I graduated from psychology. Okay, so I've moved away from geography. I'm now in psychology. Okay, and it keeps moving. Okay, the mission here is to be able to have a skill that places you know when they put out when they put out a job of assessment, and they say uh, for the qualification you should have maybe BSc or BSED or whatever qualification they asked for, and then they often say MSc is an added advantage. That is when that skill is certificate based. But do you also know that in putting that up, your soft skill or your hard skill can be an added advantage? So trying to put young people at that advantaged position is where skills come in. So I've got the certificate, but I've also got the skills. Okay. For people who learn foreign languages, you learn foreign language, you learn French. What if you learn German? What if you learn Spanish and add to what you already know? What if you even learn local languages and add to that? It will go a long way to place you at a better position. Okay, now you need to now identify how to use that. Remember, if your skill align with your profession, it is easy to use those skills. Now, your skill will look as though it were a waste if you don't have way to use it or how to use it. and you will not have way and how to use it if that skill was just learned because opportunity was created. So learn skills that align with the profession and learn skills that align with your abilities as a person, and you are good to go.
Since we are having this discussion still on the aspects of getting to learn and know a thing, and how can just briefly, and Symbiat also has a concern for you when it has to do with this. So I think you're going to answer two questions in one in less than 3 minutes. How can schools, universities, call it vocational institutions, say bring better bridge, build that better bridge that can close the gap between learning and employment? Okay, so let me also leave, Symbiat has a concern for you too, especially where you mentioned something about talent, so she wants to hold you up right there. So Symbiat.
Right, Doctor, you mentioned talent building, and I want us to agree that Nigerian youth or African youth are very much talented, because we've been having this conversation from the angle of, oh, maybe we don't know what we are doing or we are not doing enough, but I want us to have that, I want us to change that notion that African youth, we are very talented, and we've seen a whole lot. There are so many people starting up their NGOs, there are so many people starting up tech firms and a whole lot. So now, do you think that we are doing enough to channel this or those talents into building our nation as Africa?
So
So you answer both. You answer both questions.
Do not forget both of them.
Right.
3 minutes. Sorry.
So quickly, yeah, because of time, lack of it. So quickly, I'm going to start with how our schools, how our universities, how our institutions can better make our skills useful. Trust me, the problem is that the schools, most schools, not all schools, most schools in Africa only give are knowledge based and not skill based. Okay, the 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 bridge between knowledge and skill is not constructed. Okay, so we have people who are very knowledgeable from the schools but are not very useful in the labor market because they've not got the practical skills. We have engineers who are trained in the universities but don't know where to locate the plug in the engine itself. They know it's in their head, but they cannot see it with their eyes because that that bridge was not constructed. Okay, so while we can say, okay, let us be able to have these practicals done, these practicals cannot. The problem is not in the university. The problem, the universities inherit problems that could have been solved right from nursery, primary. Remember, education or schooling is in a continuum. Okay, so when we have people who were poorly groomed in primary school, these people were groomed poorly in primary school. They were exported into the secondary. The secondary panel beated them, did whatever they could with them, and then pushed them out to the university. Nothing can be done at that level. Okay, so let us go back. Okay, if we want to start skill-based education, we're going to actually have to go back and start from the scratch. That is where we started from. However, the university can try to do the best they can by ensuring that our curriculum is skill based. The theory is getting too much. Okay, over here in the UK, I did a psychology program where everything I did was brought in from the market, from the business, from the market. So the research I was doing was not go and bring a topic, let's do a research. No, they actually brought a research as it is affecting them, and you research on it, and it's useful. But over there, what we do is we have lots of people do researches, we pile them up in the library, nobody's using it. I've never had a time where actual researches done in schools are used to better the economy, the environment, the society. No, students keep doing researches every time, argue with their lecturers, do defense, and it ends there. If we change the method where, let's say, a company or the banking industry have a problem, they bring this problem to the university now give that problem to the students to research on, and results are sent back to the banking industry. You see, the method is different than asking students to sit down, write whatever they could, compile things, and it ends with them in the university. We can actually be more skill based than knowledge based. Now, on the talent part, yes, the truth is we are very talented in Africa. Trust me. anywhere in the world. In fact, anywhere in the world, you don't say an African there, please go back home. That place is not fruitful because Africans must be found where where results are respected. Okay. Now, but as I said, two things are the problem, or two things is a problem. One is the fact that some of the talents that we have are not appreciated. Okay, so we find when you start doing something and you look at your friend who is not doing as much as you're doing, in fact, he's doing something you would have thought should not be applauded, and that gets applauded, you may abandon what should have been better to want to do what that person is doing so you too can be applauded. Okay, so the skills, the talents that Africans have, the reason why Africans are not actually harnessing these talents to do exploit is because one, the environment to even do exploit isn't there. If you start a business today in Africa, that business may not survive because there is no enabling environment. So what do? You go for something you know you can strive and become without you putting so much in there. So talent are watered down. Talent are buried. Okay, we bury our talent and chase clouds just so we can be popular and so we can, make money. When popularity is based on how much one has, then talent is not recognized, and that is a problem.
Just before we end, because our time is fast closing up, we are having a very thick discussion, and our focus for this discussion, just because I don't want us to forget, is the fact that we said that we must build together, and if we must build together, youth skills has to be that connector. Okay, so having said so and established that fact, what does building together mean to you, and how can every young person contribute to making this building together a reality?
Thank you very much. I think this will come my final thoughts, and I'm happy to do that. Okay, so as I was saying, as I said at the beginning of this discussion, we have young people who are very talented, who are very skilled, but everybody's trying to survive solo. Okay, everybody's trying to become the light that others will come to. So we have a lot of competition amongst young people, a lot of unhealthy competition amongst young people because everybody's trying to be the one. Okay, everybody's trying to outsmart the other. Everybody's trying to be richer than the other. That's because people compare people's becoming. Okay, is this one? I'm trying not to mention names, but we keep comparing. Is this one not better than this one? This one not doing better than this one? This one not richer than this one? This one not more popular than the other? So it's more about how do I become more popular? How do I become more influential? How do I become the one amongst the rest? So it's now a place of competition, and in competing, it is not healthy because we pull others down so that we can be the only Iroko standing. Okay, but the theme for this year calls for collaboration. We don't have to fight. We may be doing the same thing. We may both be musicians. So if we are both musicians, we don't have to fight. We can do collabo. Okay, the song will sell better. We both share the glory. Instead of you sing your own, in my own song, I talk down on yours, and I try to pull ourselves down and all of that. Okay, that is not how to go about it. Now, in collaboration, you can have people synergize. You can have people with different skills. I may be a good public speaker. No, I am a good public speaker. Okay, I know how to do public speaking. That is what I do. I'm an orator. But I may have someone else who knows how to design, how to do designs and all of that. So he's in my team. Now we form a team of public speaker, content creator, and all of this. At the end, we build something together, not just one person trying to outshine the rest. So collaboration over competition is what we are driving at.
Dr. Flex, if I allow you, I recall sometime in 2024, you took out time to speak for 129 hours, 1 second under the Guinness World Record attempt, and I don't want you to repeat that today. And so I would love to hold you up there. But in all, I want to say thank you very much for accepting to be a part of this discussion this morning. We at Rise Up Media are very glad that you have decided to share your thoughts with us on the celebration of the 2026 World Youth Skills Day. And we are hoping that this discussion will not end just on the set of the television, but all youth who have listened to you will also try to see how to put their skills together so that together we can build a better generation. Simbiat, you have what to say to Doctor?
Thank you very much, Doctor. We've learned so much.